Hey everybody, this is Erika and Brian. We are the DCL Dorks.
Hello.
Again, we started this podcast because all of our friends grew tired of hearing about how much we love Disney cruising. As
So now you get to hear us.
people who care, yeah. One of the questions that we get a lot, and we get asked a lot together and separately, is what is it about Disney cruising that makes you guys want to go? Why is it that we want to go there again and again and again? And today, Brian and I are going to have a list off.
That's right. That's right. We both wrote down our top 5 or maybe 6 things that we felt sets DCL apart from other cruise lines.
Absolutely. And this is with that when the releasing of the Disney Wish, a lot of people are getting a lot of buzz about Disney Cruise Lines. And so we're here to answer some of those questions. So keep them coming, leave comments, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, leave us a note here on the comment with the podcast. And we're going to head it off, and I'm going to let Brian go first and let you be chivalrous.
No, you're because I've got 6. So.
You've got 6?
Yeah, so I should go first and then I can end it as well. So I'm gonna start with it's a small little detail that Disney does.
A
that
small
some people,
wonder, would you say a small wonder?
A small wonder. No, I'm gonna say pixie dust. The little small extra little pixie dust that Disney does that I don't think other cruise lines did. Just a little story. I never cruised with Disney until I met Erika, and she had 2 kids that she brought to our relationship. So it was never something I ever considered. But when my first cruise that I went with her, the kids, I was entrenched into Disney. I found all the things that Disney did differently than other cruise lines that I had been on as a single person. And so I'm going to kind of give you the list of things that brought Disney to the forefront of my mind. Because I had never experienced it before. So
I hope he uses his special phrase that when he talks about it. I can't wait for it. I'll let you know when it's coming.
Okay. All right. Very good. I think just throughout the ship, you hear the Disney music playing. It's very subtle. It's not in your face constantly. So as you're walking up the stairs, through the different decks, as you're walking out, even down the hallways of the staterooms, you'll hear Disney music playing. You'll hear, and it's usually like instrumental type, a lot of stuff. It's very, just kind of in the background, you see it, and it doesn't play all night. So if you have fear that I'm going to be sleeping in my stateroom and at 11 p.m., I'm going to hear supercalifragilisticexpialidocious playing in the background. No, they shut the music off after a certain time at night. But during the day, when you're walking about the ship, you just kind of hear that song. You're like, oh, I know that song. It just kind of brightens your day.
I think that's a good one. I like those little extra touches. To your point, not on my list, but an excellent. I would give it an asterisk on my list. But I agree. It's not like music. It's not very general. It's not in your face.
Right.
One thing that I guess is probably my number one is that it can be as much Disney or as little Disney as you want it to be. Right. And I think that is very important for people like you, whenever you went on your very first Disney cruise, that it wasn't overwhelmingly Disney. It was not all bright.
Most people think that when you say that you went on a Disney cruise, they think that there's going to be characters constantly in your face. You're going to be exposed to cartoon all the time. No.
And loud colors and
it's as much or as little as you want.
And with that, so my number one was the characters. I love going to see the characters. It's kind of my thing. I like to collect them all. When you go to Disney World, and we've kind of made that transition, or we're kind of making that transition where we were Disney World people. And as the kids have gotten older, the kids aren't as interested as much in Disney World as they are in Disney cruising. In fact, we asked them last week, where are we going in 2023? Where is it that you guys want to go? Anywhere. We said we go anywhere. And the first thing out of our 15-year-old's mouth was Disney Cruise.
Disney Cruise. Now, I still like going to Disney World. But yes. That's me. But the kids seem to be very more towards Disney, doing on the DCL. But
so for the family, we're kind of transitioning out. We just went to Disneyland Paris in September of 2022, had a blast. And we're actually going to go to Walt Disney World in November of 22. So we're looking forward to that. But the rides aren't as exciting for the kids as they used to be.
Right.
But their characters at the parks, you have to wait are so long. Long.
You'll walk up and say, hey, I haven't seen Goofy in a while or whatever, but oh look, there's 50 people in line, and I know that he's only going to be there for an hour, so I'll probably never even get through the queue.
And you spend so much on the ticket, you don't want to stand in that queue and waste your day. When we were at Disneyland Paris, what was it, 240 minutes to see the princesses at the Princess Pavilion?
Right.
And let alone if you go to Magic Kingdom.
And how many princesses did we just see on our last cruise?
All of them.
All of them.
And
in probably a 15-minute time frame. Yeah.
So in the DCL Navigator, which is the app on your phone, they list all of the character greetings and you can get in line. They usually have them on deck 3 and deck 4, even up to deck 5, outside preludes. And they'll, there's usually they run you right through it. We're Photo Pass people, very similar to the Photo Pass at Walt Disney World. But we
highly recommend it.
Always, absolutely. They'll take pictures with your own cameras, but my cameras are not as fancy and the lighting's not as good, and they know what these characters are going to do. So you not only do you get to see the characters in a very short amount of time, they actually interact with you.
Oh, most definitely. I think they interact with you more on the ship than they do at the park.
Absolutely.
And the nice thing, like you mentioned it, that they'll have an itinerary in your daily, what character is going to be there, what time of day. Now you may not know what outfits are wearing, but you'll know what character is going to be there. But you go to the parks and it's not as easily accessible, I don't believe, to know when a certain character is going to be where in the park. And you could want to see what's the character you didn't get to see from Aladdin this last time?
I want to see Jafar.
I want to see Jafar. But Jafar could be on the other side of the park in a half hour, when you look, and you're just never going to be able to make it. But on the cruise ship, you can get from one end of the cruise to the other within probably 5 minutes. Yeah.
And so they have one thing that you can register for when you do your pre-boarding work is they have a princess gathering. It's free, and we got in line and we saw Tiana and we saw Rapunzel and we saw the Little Mermaid and
Belle, I think Bella.
And then we saw Belle. We saw Belle was there. And so we got to see them. We saw one princess, got in the line for the next one, and it was like a reservation system. Again, free included, but there was only going to be so many people at that time, so you could move right through the line.
Right.
And they will tell you there's a cast member always standing at the end of the line if they've closed it. So hey, Donald's gonna go. Next up is gonna be so-and-so in 15 minutes.
Chippendale's coming up, and they'll let you know. So this is the end of the line, but if you stay, Chippendale's coming in here next. So you're like, all right, I'm gonna get right in this line and be able to see Chippendale.
So that's what I think that's my number one thing, why a Disney cruise is better than why I prefer Disney cruises over the other is the characters. Because the other ships, they're not going to have the characters.
Well, hopefully we get through our list a little quicker than that one, because if so, we're going to be here for an hour.
You know what? This could be a longer podcast.
Or maybe we're going to do our top 3 and then we'll do a second part 2.
Suspense.
So my number 2, and this is no particular order, it's just what came to my mind. Disney brings a higher class of just maintenance. There's no peeling paint. There's no rust on the side of the ships. You see them whenever they're parked.
Like a true engineer, folks.
Whenever they're parked at one of the ports of call, they've got crews on the outside of the ship, either washing down the ship, painting a certain section of the ship. There's not a single rust stain anywhere on any of the cruise ships that within their fleet.
Oh yeah.
If you go at these ports of call, look at one of the other cruise lines that might be also parked there. Check the bow of their ship. There's probably going to be some rust coming down the side of that ship. Disney, they don't do that. The inside is the same as the outside. You go to any of the public restrooms, they are pristine. I don't know that I ever walked into a restroom on a Disney cruise line, a public restroom, and thought that it was dirty.
No.
They are constantly being cleaned, constantly being checked on. So, and then the carpeting the paint, the chrome that's within everything
Polished,
is
definitely.
polished and kept to a pristine condition.
And how would you say that it is? Come on, give the phrase.
It's
Well,
well maintained,
well
appointed,
well
appointed.
appointed.
Okay,
That's what he first said to me about the Disney cruise ship.
well
It is
appointed,
well appointed.
well appointed.
And I'm gonna extend upon what yours
right.
and with my number 2,
Oh.
which is the service team.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll talk about all the cast members on staff. From the maintenance squad to the bar servers to your stateroom attendants, they pride themselves in top-notch service. And while sure you're the guest, you're paying to be on there, but they are friendly and they genuinely care. These are people that have chosen to spend years away from their families to come to work here, and they want to enjoy themselves. And so they want if you have a good experience, they're having a good experience. And that's all the way down from the people that do the trivia to the person who scrapes the crumbs off your table to a stateroom. And we've made good pals with some of our servers throughout the years. We've learned that because they enjoy it. And so I think their service goes above and beyond, especially for those of you who have worries about dietary restrictions with different allergies and those types of things. They take excellent care of those, and they pinpoint that very clearly, and they'll let you talk to the chef, all of that. So service team, top notch.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was your number 2?
That was my number
All right,
2.
Okay. We're gonna move on to my number 3. I think it's just the catalog of entertainment that Disney can pull from is unsurpassed by any other entertainment corporation on the planet, I believe. I mean, especially, when we first started cruising, I don't believe Marvel was under the umbrella, but now Marvel has been, brought into the mix. But you've got Disney, you've got Pixar, you've got Marvel. It's just you go onto the ship, and so between the movies that they're showing, between the characters that are on board, between the live action Broadway style musicals that are happening, they can pull from this huge catalog of items. And what they're showing on Funnel Vision, they can have all these movies. Other cruise lines don't have that ability to show that because they don't own the rights to that intellectual property. So I think the fact that Disney can pull from all these different areas, that's one thing that just kind of blew my mind. You can go on some cruise line, they might have a great band, they might have a Cirque du Soleil type of thing going on in the theater, but Disney has all of these other things that they can pull from that just kind of set them, I think, above others.
I think what that adds to, and because one of mine on here is the Broadway style shows, and so I can throw that in here. One of the things about all of the intellectual property that Disney has, whether it's the Marvel, whether it's the music that they play in the hallway, whether it's the movies on the Funnel Vision, which is where you sit in the pool and watch TV,
right?
Or watch the movies. It creates kind of a very familiar environment. And you're kind of, what you're kind of getting, you feel like it's not, I'm not going to say safe because I'm sure there are things that happen. I've never encountered any, I've never felt unsafe, but it's a very comfortable environment because you're surrounded by things that you know and that you understand. But their Broadway style shows, they have them, depending on the length of the cruise, they have Dreams, they have Frozen, they have, but our favorite is Tangled.
Yes.
And what they do is they've done a really great job of they offer them before early seating and late seating, both, so that everybody, they offer it, yeah. So they offer it so that everybody, regardless of what time you're eating, gets a chance to see the show. And they've condensed the fairy tale or the show to 40 minutes.
Right.
So
it's very condensed. Right.
So you're not going to get Pascal. He didn't make the cut into the Tangled this time, but Maximus did, and he's on the horror. He's a little, they're a little puppeteer. But they've condensed it down so that the kids they're not going to get squirmy. They're not going to get bored. They're not going to start running around like they would at a movie theater. So I think that they're top notch. I've seen Beauty and the Beast on the stage in the full length when they come to town, but definitely I think those shows are bar none better than any show I've seen on any other cruise.
Well, it also works very well with the rotational seat with the early and late night dining, because they understand that people are gonna, come out. If you have the early dining, then you're gonna go to the show after dinner. If you have the late dining, you're gonna come to the one before dinner. But they've condensed it enough that you can do both. Like you can go to the show beforehand, and then you can go do your dinner, or vice versa.
No, I think that's really great.
All right, so where are we on? I'm on number 4, I
Four,
guess,
yes.
on my list. Now, like I said, when we first started cruising, we brought the kids with us. That was, kind of the impetus to go on the cruise, and we brought the kids. So I was able to kind of see some of these kids clubs that they have.
Oh, yeah.
The Oceaneer Club and the Oceaneer Lab that they have on board. Plus, they have Vibe and also
The Edge.
the Edge. So there's different age ranges. So you've got, what is it, the Oceaneers?
3 to 12 is the Oceaneers,
Okay,
and then
right.
12 to 14 is the Edge, and then 14 up is Vibe.
Now the Oceaneers though is broken into though as well, although I think they're allowed to mingle.
Yeah.
But you've got the Oceaneers Club and the Lab. But anyways, you go into these areas, and they look like Andy's Playroom from Toy Story.
Yeah.
The Millennium Falcon. They have one of the, I don't remember which cruise ship. Is that the Fantasy maybe? I can't remember which one had. I know the Magic, it was more of a Marvel theme plus Andy's Playroom. But you go into these, and they've recreated certain scenes from Disney movies. And they've brought it down to the kids level, because that's the other big thing when you go on the art of the theme on the cruise ships, that the deck that all the kids clubs are on, it's about 1.5 feet shorter than the other levels of the boat. So it kind of brings it down to the kids level. So you walk into the kids zones, and the ceiling height is probably 6.5, maybe 7 feet. So it kind of brings everything down. They've got the central area with they've got the huge screen TV, and that's where they have maybe some of their dance parties and stuff. And then they got the little the rooms on the sides that are kind of themed to different areas. So just the ability of bringing different entertainment to the kids and making it fun for them.
Yes.
And the ability that they can, depending on the maturity level of the kid that you've brought, you can give them the opportunity to either check themselves in and out of the club, or you can set it so that mom and dad are going to bring them to the club, they're going to check them in, and they're not going to be allowed to leave unless mom and dad come back and check them out. So you can set it up however is comfortable with you and your kids. And the fact that they've got their little their magic band that they wear on the ship, so they use that to check themselves in and out, if you set it up, for the kids. So it provides a lot of different levels of entertainment for the kids, and levels of control for the parents as well.
I thought I was the first time I took the kids on a Disney cruise, it was with my parents, and they had the magic bands, and I went to go pick up my daughter, and I said, okay, I'm here for her. And they said, they looked it up in the computer, and they knew exactly which portion of which room she was in based on what her magic band said. So they could tell me exactly where she was. Also, it's included in the price of the cruise.
Yeah.
That is huge.
That's key, yeah.
The only thing that isn't included is for the kids that are under 3 for the It's a Small World nursery. And that's kind of based, that price they kind of work that out with you, but letting based on the age of your kid and those types of things. But that is huge. Also on that cruise, she said, Mom, I'm not coming home till late. Pluto's having a pajama party.
Yeah.
And my God, it was after 10:30, almost 11 o'clock at night. She came back to that room. She had Pluto's autograph on a special pillowcase, and she had the time of her life. And so the kids have always, as they've grown and they've grown to the new rooms that they can go now to the Edge and to the Vibe. Right. They're really appropriate with them. And I agree. I think that's terrific.
Well, and the great thing was, if you had a younger kid, at dinner, whatever seating you had, whether it was early or late, they take the kids' order immediately when you sit
Oh
down,
yeah.
and they'll have the kids' meal brought out within 10 or 15 minutes of you sitting down, so that the kids can eat, and then the staff of the Oceaneers Club and Lab will come into the restaurant, collect the kids that are ready to go because they've already eaten. You know, within the first half hour of your seating, they've eaten, they've had their dessert, they're ready to
Yeah.
go, because the staff sets it up so that they get their meals very quickly, so that they can get it, go, you know, off to their club, and then the adults and parents can have a enjoyable, you know, evening of dinner, you know, without, while the kids are off, you know, playing. So that was a key thing that was really a nice little touch that I thought they did.
Well, and on the last cruise that we went on in September, the couple that we went with had an 18-month-old. And when we walked into dinner, his drink was on the table. They were ready to keep him. They brought his food right
Yeah,
out
the
and keep
sippy,
him
yeah,
in
the
his sippy
sippy
cup.
cup, everything. Yeah,
It was great. They totally catered to that.
yeah.
So my number
Four,
four,
yeah, four.
I'm going to go with theme nights. And my shirt here, if you guys are watching it on YouTube, you can see right here, this is my Pirates of the Caribbean shirt for the Pirates on the Caribbean, or Pirates in the Caribbean. And this is the little bandana that they give you, the Pirates in the Caribbean. So what that is, it's pirate night. And Jack Sparrow comes out, and Captain Hook is there, and Mr. Schnee, and there's a pirate themed dinner. And then you go up on the pool deck, and they do one thing that no other cruise line can do.
What's that?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. They have fireworks at sea.
Yeah.
And that is something that I love, fireworks over water. And Disney has always had this big pledge for being eco-friendly. They've worked it out. That everything is biodegradable. So everything that they're shooting off is safe for the plant life and the
Right.
water.
And all the, yeah, all the fish in the sea and everything. Yeah.
It is something that it's something that you need to experience. And I'll tell you what, everybody dresses up.
Oh, people talk about Pirate Night. They live for Pirate Night. I mean, yeah, they'll bring certain costumes just for Pirate Night.
This last time we had white t-shirts that we kind of cut up,
Yeah,
and red bandanas. Very basic. Very basic.
You
Yeah.
go all out by getting a really fancy costume, you know, like, you know, from your local Halloween store, or you can just, DIY it at home and take a white t-shirt and kind of cut it up, you know, kind of like a pirate shirt.
And we bought some sashes off of Amazon and wore some flip-flops, and we were good to go. And the kids will do that. And also, if you don't want to participate, if you do not want to dress up, that's okay.
No.
You don't have to. It's all good. So there's no judgment whatsoever. They have different themed backdrops for Pirate Night.
Jack Sparrow makes a he comes in, you can get your picture taken with Jack.
I did ask him where the rum was, and he said we couldn't talk about that. I don't know if he had a hidden stash. All right, so what's next on your list?
All right, so we're down to number 5 now for me. I just think, I mean, cruise lines in general have very good food. I mean, usually the food is pretty good. I think DCL just kind of takes it to that next level. Yeah, certainly in the rotational dining, they have, it's up to par with any other ship. But I think it's more when you go out on the pool deck and the options that you have available to you just, during the day when you're on the pool, or you're going between one trivia to the next trivia, you can pop up to deck 10 on the Magic, or you can grab a burger, you can grab a fish sandwich, hot dog, you can grab a slice of pizza. They now have shawarma, so like you can have chicken shawarma or beef and lamb shawarma. Just the options that they have available for just the during the day type, I think are a little higher quality than a lot of other cruise lines. So that's my number. Just as you're like, you're sitting on the pool deck, grab a burger. You head down, you grab a burger, you head back to the pool deck, and it's a delicious burger.
It is a delicious burger. And the word fish burger threw me off, so I didn't order it. But think of it as if you're an American, it's a fish sandwich.
Yeah.
It's like a deluxe, it's like an extra filet of fish. It's really, really good.
Yeah, it's a step above a filet of
Right,
fish.
right,
It's
right.
basically like if you're going to maybe not an Irish pub, but somewhere between filet of fish and an Irish pub. It's a nice little cod kind of fish sandwich,
Oh yeah.
deep fried.
That was
Very
my
good.
go-to pool deck. They also, one thing is very important. So this is a pro tip or a dork tip, because that's what we are. The soda is free on the pool deck. So you can you can take your turbis, take your
Right.
whatever your mug is, whatever your favorite thing is. In the corner, they have a soda fountain there with Coke products, water, lemonade. You can get milk and coffee, tea. It's all right there, and it's refillable, and that's 24/7. Also, you can get free ice cream
Yes, right.
from Ice Cream. It's based upon Mike Wazowski from Monsters Inc.
Right.
And then they also have Daisy's Delights, which has a variety of different
Oh,
salads and
yes, I
soups.
forgot
Yeah,
about that because you've got kind of almost a little deli area, Daisy Delights. So
yeah.
you have some cold cut type sandwiches. They usually have 2 or 3 hot soups, and we just came off our last cruise. They've introduced kind of like bowls, like almost like ramen type bowls now. So you can like make your own bowl with scallions and peanuts and ramen noodles and the broth of the day. It's fabulous.
One thing I would recommend, another pro tip, dork tip, is all the straws that are on the Disney cruise are biodegradable. They do not have plastic straws. So when you bring your Tervis or whatever your cup of choice is, grab a metal straw or a plastic straw so that you can continue to reuse that for your trip.
Yeah.
You'll thank me later for that. So my number 5, and then you'll get to your number 6, is the guests. So I mentioned earlier that I think that the Disney cruise is a very like calming environment. It's a comfortable environment because of all the Disney things. Well, one thing that Disney Cruise Line I find is sets it apart and elevates it to other cruise lines is you already have a commonality with these people.
Right.
Everybody here on the ship is about Disney. Whether you're a super fan, whether you are a begrudging family member that is going along, chances are you've seen a Disney movie or you've been to a park or something, and you already have this commonality. So you can talk to other people really friendly. And we sometimes feel like we want to go out and talk to people, and sometimes we don't. We have met some of our very best friends on Disney cruises, and we did not know them ahead of time. We've been on cruises with 2 other couples that we've met, and we have traveled with a 3rd couple. So they are definitely lifelong friends, and we're so happy to have them. But we've met people just playing in trivia. So you can get a group together for trivia. I sat there by myself one day waiting for Brian, and a woman came up and said, "Hey, can I play with you?" Sure. She and her husband came down. We played 4 other different trivias around the ship. We would text each other on the Navigator app and say, "Hey, you want to go do this trivia, movie quotes trivia?" And we would meet up and we'd go play. And I think that is really friendly. Also, and we'll do another podcast strictly on fish extenders, but if with the FEs and you kind of do, as Brian said, pixie dust, where you can leave little gifts and things like these, the fish extender.
Yeah. And you don't see that on any other cruise ship, I don't
No.
believe. I mean, it's just the manner of like extending a friendly gesture to everybody else on but it's because I think it's you hold that commonality of Disney and everything that brings it like you can't go into Disney and not just start smiling just because it brings you back to your childhood or it brings you back to a great movie that you saw that really touched you or something. So
well, to see you like they welcome you on board. Welcome Brian and Erika to the Disney magic. And they literally do that. Like you're a guest on the Tonight Show and people, they applaud,
right.
So I think that's great. We met a woman on our transatlantic cruise. We met her at the cab stand at our hotel, and we shared a cab to the port, and then Brian grabbed drinks with her. Like they kept running into each other
all week while we're on the ship. We're great friends, and we saw her even afterwards
on the cab stand on the room. So and we're Facebook friends now. So hi, Linda.
Yeah.
So we are so that I think that's what sets it apart is the community of people, and it's not again overbearing, in your face. It's just something that you can always talk to people about.
Well, and that brings me back to I forgot to mention with the different amount of entertainment as well. You talked about the trivia. We like to do the trivia a
Yeah.
lot. So you go to a trivia, you can have a trivia that's just on Marvel. You can have a trivia that's just on Pixar. You can have a trivia that's on the Disney parks. I mean, you can go to 5 different trivias throughout the day, but all geared around different types of the Disney catalog.
And for those people who aren't Disney people, they have 80s music, 90s music.
Right.
We did TV shows, which it was all
TV shows, TV tunes,
TV's
trivia.
tuned. Yes.
So like, those old 80s and 90s, sitcoms that would have that
The
one thing. What show is this? And it just kind of brings back the memory.
Little Hill Street Blues action.
Yeah.
So they have something for everybody, whether you are a Disney fan or not.
Right. All right, so we're moving on. So
bring it home.
I'm on number 6. So I gave 6. It's an extra. I gave you an extra one here today. The thing that blew my mind away when I first came onto the Disney cruise ships was the movie theaters. So you've got the Broadway style theater, with the huge, with the theater laid out, and you're going to have the Broadway style shows. But also on all the ships, there's a digital movie theater, as if you're like going to your local movie plex, and they're showing movies throughout the day. And of course, they're pulling from the Disney catalog. So, and it's also, new run movies. So there's usually 6 to 10 movies that are being shown throughout your cruise, depending on the length of the cruise. But if a movie is coming out on being released by Disney the week that you're on the ship, you're going to see it on the ship.
Yeah.
So you'll see it first run, as if on a Thursday night. That Thursday night when it's being released in the States, you're also going to be able to see it on the ship at the exact same time. So that's the other form of entertainment, and maybe it's almost like a 3B, if you will. That it's just an extension of that entertainment envelope that Disney Cruise brings to you, that you can, like, if you just want to veg out for a movie, they got the popcorn. You can go ahead and get the popcorn. You can bring the popcorn. Bring your popcorn bucket from one of the parks.
Dork tip.
Yeah, you buy one of the little containers from the parks that you refill at the parks. Bring that onto the cruise with you. You can get that same refill and save money because you brought the container on, the ship with you.
It's important to note that the movies are free. The movies are included with it.
Right.
So you could spend the whole time watching every single movie, like at the movie theater, and you don't have to pay for anything.
And I would say that you go on a ship and you could see there's probably 2 or 3 first run movies. So if you didn't go to the theater in the past 3 or 4 weeks, because Disney releases a lot of movies. They're probably releasing a new movie every week of the year, probably. So if you didn't go to the movie theater for the last 3 or 4 weeks to see that latest Disney show, you save up, you go on the ship, you can watch 3 or 4 brand new movies on the ship while you're there.
And now with the onslaught of Disney Plus, they pull from that catalog. So on the last cruise that we went on to in September of 22, we saw Thor: Love and Thunder.
Right.
And we saw the new Pinocchio that came out on Disney Plus. We thought, you know what? It'll probably be on the boat. Let's watch it on the big screen instead of watching it on the TV.
Right.
And to add to your movies is the in stateroom movie selection. So it's like you have Disney Plus in your stateroom. So they have a couple of normal, like they have the BBC and they have a couple of sports channels, but they have a whole catalog of Disney movies to pick from. So we did a Pirates of the Caribbean on this last cruise. Since we were there for 12 days, we watched all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. So when you have a little downtime, you can still keep that Disney feeling going and stick with that.
Yeah, no, it's great.
So we'd love to hear what you think are reasons you think that Disney is better or even worse, or where you think they could do better, or things that they do outstanding on why you picked a Disney cruise, and other questions on why, for you first timers who are interested in taking a Disney cruise, what other questions do you have?
Yeah, and what questions do you have? Like, what does Disney do, maybe different than others? Now, There's certain things Disney doesn't have. Disney doesn't have casinos on
That
their
is
ship.
true. They don't have
You know,
casinos.
but if that's something that you have to have a casino, while on your ship. Disney maybe isn't the ship for you. But if there's other things that you want, or any questions about any of the other things, shoot them our way.
Yeah.
We'll be helping, happy to answer.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. And we are the Disney Dorks, the DCL Dorks, Eric and Brian. See you soon.
See ya. Bye-bye.